So
Yeah.
we're done with 2 sprints, and now this is sprint 3. And we're gonna plan what we're gonna do for this sprint. So
So, if I may say, we are supposed to do a sequence and the test. We can, if happen like
it's
this is.
still echoing. So one person talk. I'm not able to hear you properly.
I was. I'm talking to
Yeah, yeah.
someone else.
Purva, go ahead.
So sequence diagrams are to be drawn
Okay.
and like created, and then test plan. And I guess if we still have some room, we can take up security plan too.
Okay. Let me just
Uh,
go over.
Yeah.
so pitching into that, so today we got feedback from Dr. Chameleon, right? Let's work on the changes first on class diagram, then let's move to the sequence diagram. Sounds good?
Yeah. Actually, Pooja, just to put a point about that, I think it doesn't really matter. Like somebody can start, and also like one point was we have 12 scenarios, right? He left a comment in the email mentioning check the number of sequence diagrams that are required. I just did that, and it turns out you just have to draw 5. He said at least 5. So let's just pick 5 or 6 among the 12, the most important ones, and do it. I can just like quickly have a look at all of the scenarios today and see if it is really tightly coupled with the class diagram, or somebody can just start work on it and then change it after you guys are done. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I think I don't know, Praveen. You tell me. I think I need one more person to work along with me for the sequence diagram. Do you? If I'll work on it, I'll probably need the entire sprint. Do we do that, or should I just take the help of one more person? Both of us do it together, and then get on to some essay or something. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what we should ideally do is, so if we have 4 days, let's keep it light so that everybody's working just 2 days, and the other 2 days let's just work on reviewing our each other's documents so that we don't come up with any other conflicts the way it happened today or anything going before. So
Let's
that sounds
let's
good.
also keep in mind we have 2 sprints left.
Right.
So whatever's left, we really want to accomplish probably about half of it.
So the leftover part would be deployment diagram and I guess the essays, right, for the last sprint.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
I added a few more things in there when I was reading through the rubric that are required. They're just at the bottom of the document.
Okay. Let me just go through our sprint planning doc, our product backlog for the case, not for the case, sorry, for the project.
Okay. I can get the binder. You can put that on my to-do list.
Okay. So as a team member, I want to write an essay about the waterfall model so that I know how it could have been designed with waterfall. That's one task going forward. There's one with the sequence diagram. As a team member, I want to write an essay about how using other agile methods would have been different. As a team member, I want to write an essay about how the Scrum process worked. Okay, all these are just thing. Okay. In terms of documents to submit, I think we'll need one to create a plan to provide security for the overall system. That's one. Create a testing plan for at least 10 user stories. And UML deployment diagram. So can we target sequence, UML deployment and security because we've already started with it?
See, testing is going to be vast because I had a word with Dr. G, what all is required. So he just wanted that we should know what all are we testing, which all testing we're going to do, and how we're going to do it.
Okay.
So for the 10 scenarios that we're going to test, they're going to be test cases. So Rajat and I were talking. So I would like Rajat to give me some input regarding this. Like, do we need some other person also because it's very vast? Because I just spent like good 10 to 15 minutes, and he was very particular that we should be it should be detailed. Like he should know what is happening, which scenario, how we're gonna do it, and how we're gonna define. Even if it is an automated testing, how the automated testing will be done, which tools are we gonna use, and everything. So where is?
Okay.
Did you want to know about the tools as well?
He said he just mentioned it vaguely that I would if you're automating suppose user acceptance testing. He said if you're doing UAT, so you're gonna automate it. I don't want to know which all automated test cases you're gonna write, but then I would want to know how you're gonna do it. Like you know how to go about it. So he needs a quite detailed version of it, not the one that I found. That template won't do. He needs like for every like I have discussed it with Rajat, so it's pretty much deeply you have to dig into.
So he needs.
Go ahead.
So he needs exact the test cases for every user story. Is it?
Rajat, can you go on mute?
No, just the test cases. Test cases just a part of it. Then which all testing that test case like which how many test cases are there, which all testing they going to required, are they going to be multiple testing for one case scenarios, and what all are we going to do in those testing? So that is how it's going to be. It's not just first I thought it's just going to be test cases and what kind of testing it is and that's it. It's not like that. It's kind of like he just simply said that again you can follow whatsoever template you want to, but I want to know that you know how you're doing it, what you're doing it, and when are you doing it. Especially he said when, how, and how much effort is going to take.
So I think for that though, it's the acceptance criteria. So basically, you just have to come up with tests that test to make sure it meets the acceptance criteria.
Is that also I asked, but that is according to him. Then again, it's gonna be according to the developer also who's doing the unit testing because they write their own set of testing criteria for themselves. That what you are saying according to the acceptance criteria, that would come under maybe he said something functional requirement, something he said. I will have a word with him again.
Was it called unit testing?
Unit testing is just a part of it. He was like, you need to have an integration testing. How are you integrating? What all are you integrating? Which methodology are you using for integration? So that's a pretty much big discussion that I already had with Rajat. So I can discuss with you guys again. I'll again go to Dr. G and ask about it. But it's not the document that we were thinking that we were targeting that with test cases and a PDF column for kind of testing. That's not the one.
Do you need one more person's help for this story?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So we were thinking that if Praveen can work, probably Praveen can work with us on this one. So that will be extremely helpful because for the class diagrams, we don't require, at least this is what my assumption is, we don't require a lot many different changes. So maybe you and Pooja can coordinate on that one and then continue with the sequence diagrams. And if at all we can pull Praveen in this one, that will be extremely helpful so that we can just wrap it up this sprint.
Yeah, we could do that. Pooja, are you still there?
I can hear you guys.
Yeah. So we can probably go over the changes that he suggested for the class diagram and then begin working on the sequence diagram. I think it would be good continuity.
Yeah, I can do sequence diagrams. We are supposed to do 5 of those, right?
Yeah, we have to pick any 5 important and interesting ones is what he said.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask one thing. So along with sequence diagrams, we are supposed to deliver a deployment diagram as well, right?
Yeah.
So, will we have time for that during our upcoming sprints?
Ashley and Alison are free, so they can probably start with the deployment diagram.
So what about the plan?
So just to give you an overview, I think me, Rajat and Apurva are going to be working on the testing plan to identify how we are going to do it, what sort of a document it's going to be, what all are the test cases that we're going to cover, and the 3 of us will come up with a comprehensive plan to achieve this within this sprint. Aishwarya and Pooja, both of you all are going to be working on the class diagram. Any sort of feedback that Dr. G is given, you'll have to incorporate that in the class diagram and also start off on the sequence diagram. So we've covered 2 big stories. Apart from this, we have Ashley and Alison. So what can you guys work on?
See, there are 2 things that is left, the major thing, that is deployment and a security plan. So, Alison, if you're comfortable with either one of them, so you can just tell us.
There's also all of the essays, and he wants us to have, he basically in class today was like, we need to have a rough draft of everything pretty soon. And I mean, I can bust out an essay, like a full-fledged essay in like a couple hours. So like, honestly, I think I could take on at least 2 of them and finish 2 of them.
I could as well.
So like, I think like, honestly,
that in the last sprint also, or we are gonna push the deployment and security. Like, are we targeting for the essays in this sprint or the security and the deployment thing in this sprint? I'm confused.
I mean, I was just bringing up the essays because I know that I could do it like feasibly in this sprint, and that if nothing else, we can at least get a draft of them ready.
Okay, we can actually do one thing. Let's weigh out the efforts that are needed for the other tasks, and depending on how much we have for this sprint, we can either add 2 essays or we can think about taking the deployment diagram. Sounds good?
What if we just made it, instead of doing them completed, what if we did a rough draft of all of them? So we could do a first take at the deployment diagram and the essays. So neither are done to like the complete level that they should be completed, but then we have a rough draft so we can get feedback. Because I think this is the last time we're going to be able to actually get feedback and change things.
Yeah, I agree with Alison, because that's what I was planning to suggest now. Deployment diagram won't take really that much time. So if we have like drafts of all the 4 essays, deployment diagram should be pretty doable. And we can push the security plan in the last sprint, along with the final drafts of the essays.
Actually, I think the deployment diagram needs a little more work than we are assuming it to be, because he's clearly mentioned an N-tier architecture, and I think we need to think it out a little and discuss. Whereas the essays, I think even if we are not meeting regularly, anybody can just go and edit it on the drive. I personally think we should pick the deployment diagram because it needs a lot of work. Like if 2 people are not getting that, they should probably like ask one of us in the daily stand up and then put it up, because clearly I just try to think of it and I can't think of 3 tiers right now, like for what we are planning to implement. What do you think, Praveen?
Can we first weigh out how much effort is required for the initial task that we have planned? Based on that, we can take a call. Because like we said, we were trying to overload the last sprint also, right? So let's not go with, so if it's a rough draft, I'm not sure how much we can demo it. Even if we're talking about an essay, if we go with a rough draft, we might not be able to demo it and claim whatever points. So let's do one thing end to end, and then let's take a call on the other one after that. Sounds good, everyone?
Yeah, I agree with Praveen, because this time also for the testing thing, we had a kind of a rough thing for the testing, but we could not demo it. So like both Rajat and I had nothing to demo, but we had a partial form of it. We could not even upload it because that was not in that prepared that much very well done or not. So let's just weigh out. Let's just see how many points we are covering.
Okay.
And if we've got more points, we can have some a little heavy towards the heavier side. And if not, then we can go for the essays.
Okay, so I'll start off. So we have the corrections on the class diagram and mapping out the sequence diagrams. So how much do you think that, guys, how much effort do you think that would require?
I think either 5 or 8.
For
One
both
of those
of them
two.
combined, or?
No, we're not combining it, right? Alison has created a story for fixing the defects.
Oh.
So I think that can be a 2 or 3, Pooja. Just adding things to the class diagram, incorporating his feedback.
I commented thinking that both are together. If they are like different, then yeah, class diagram should be a 2 and sequence diagram can be 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8, but since the processes are ready, like since we know what we have to do, I think 5 should be enough. We'll be able to do it in the sprint.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Alison, have you created a corrective user story also?
No, but we need to. That should be literally like a 1. Because I think he had 1, maybe 2 comments.
Which correction story are you talking about?
I'm talking about, so how do we correct the class diagram? Whatever Dr. Gomelian's comments, we're going to incorporate that, right? Under what user story? So you said that Alison's created a separate user story for that, refining the document.
Oh, you're asking. Okay, wait. Go to right where like the big spaces in the document. So like there's top part and then there's a gap that we just did. It should be like the top one in that third gap, like the third block. Does that make sense?
Check out point 10. I think that is what it is.
Okay.
I'm just
There you
editing
go.
point 10. I just wrote that. As a team member, I want to
Okay.
define the class
Oh,
diagram and...
no, check 13. I'm sorry. Check 13. Alison, that is what you typed in
Okay.
class today, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Assign 2 points to 13. That is what
Yeah.
Pooja and I are going to pick up first.
Okay. Point 12, right?
Yeah.
We also need to consider that based on some of the changes we've been making, we are going to need to change the DFD a little bit, and we're going to need to add more into the ERD in terms of what is being stored, because we've discovered more with the user stories.
Okay. Are we going to count
Should I
points
go
for
with-
it, or?
yeah, should I go with a higher weight so that you can dedicate that much time, or do you think 2 is sufficient?
I think a 2 should be pretty fine for doing that.
Okay.
Well, I think that has to be a second story though. Like there should be one for the diagram, then there should be one for the ERD DFD.
Okay. So I'm going with the 2 points for feedback from the demo for class and 2 points for the ERD to accommodate any new changes. That works? Guys?
Yeah.
So 2 and 2. 1 for correcting the class diagram and 2 points for correcting the class diagram and 2 points for correcting and accommodating for any changes in the DFT and the ERD. Cool?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So we have effort is 9 points right now. The first one is the UML sequence diagram. So that's going to be 5 points between Aishwarya and Pooja. There's going to be the feedback from the demo for the class diagram, which is going to be again Aishwarya and Pooja, 2 points, and change the deliverables to meet the changes on the ERD, 2 points on Alison and Ashley. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Rajat and Apurva, I'm not too sure about how much effort is required for the testing plan. So can one of you all give an estimate on the accounting for 3?
I guess. How much do you think?
Well, the last time we kept it at around 5, I guess. So
That was.
but then again, I think 5 should be okay.
Guys, it's 8. It was 8.
Oh, okay. If it's 8, yeah, let's keep it the same.
Let's keep it.
Just give me a minute. I'm just finding it.
It's 18.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you just want to like highlight all the stories that we picked up for this sprint and then probably make it blue later?
I've made it in a very different beige color. I don't know why.
It's pink.
Pink. Nice.
I'm sorry. I'm doing a lot of things here and I'm recording the video also, so it takes it all.
That's okay. I can't find your color.
Yeah,
Make it baby
now
pink.
you can find it. It's maroon.
Yeah, just change it now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool. So now we have 8. So for the testing plan, we have the effort
17.
is 8. So we have 8 plus 2, 12. Yeah, we have 17 on the table right now. So should we go with 2 more essays? Or
Yeah. I think we can.
yeah? No, because Ashley and Alison still have their chunk of work. Like,
Yeah.
they have to
Just
decide
give me
what
2
to do.
minutes, guys.
Okay. Aren't there a couple that are like 1 page in length?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them aren't really that much.
We have
One of them
about
is 6 pages.
we have one on using other agile methods. We have one on the Scrum process,
Mm-hmm.
and we have one on the waterfall model. So we have 3 essays, straightforward. I think 1-page essays. So can you guys work
So
on that?
the agile one is worth 10 points. I know that off the top of my head. That one's worth more.
Okay.
So we might want to do that one to get like feedback on it.
Okay.
And then if the other 2 are only a single page, then that's not really going to take that long.
I think because don't me and Allison just have 2 points for the revising the ERD and DFD?
Yeah.
Like I think that we can take on more, and especially since next week is going to be Thanksgiving. Like I'd rather work a lot more on it this week than have to do it while I'm at home next week.
Same.
Okay.
Because my family kind of wants to go do things, so it's a lot easier to get more done this week.
Okay. I'm sorry I missed the last part. Can you guys just repeat that? So sorry.
We were just saying that we're going home for Thanksgiving, and our
Okay.
my family wants to go do stuff, so it's easier to get more done this week than
Okay.
it's going to be to do more next week.
Okay.
We're going to have a lot less time.
Okay. So the 3 essays, should I just mark all 3 on you guys?
What if we do 2 of, or do you want to do all 3 essays, Ashley? What do you want? What do you think we should do? Because I feel like we need to get the deployment diagram at least demoed.
Okay, let's go with 2
I
essays
agree.
and 1 the deployment diagram, at least the start off on it.
Okay, yeah. If assign the deployment diagram to me and Allison to at least get something to demo, and then if we think we'll have time, we can start on the essays.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily need to. I don't know if we necessarily need to assign it points for this sprint with the essays. I personally would just like to get them started.
I agree with that. I really think that we can just do the essays and the deployment diagram, honestly.
Yeah.
So we can do this thing that we can add deployment diagram as a story and keep essays. Like if you've got time, then we can add it. Even if you've got a rough draft of it, then we won't add it or demo it in the end. So that's how we'll just at least get started on the essays.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll just keep them in our backlog
Yeah.
of things for this sprint.
Cool.
So are we just gonna start on the deployment diagrams first and then pick up the essays if there's room for it?
Yeah. No, so we're just gonna go with the deployment diagram right now, and then as and when, so if at all we have time and we've reviewed the rest of the stuff, let's see if we can just start off on at least one of the essays.
Okay.
Let's not decide
Yeah.
on that right now, but let's just go with
Yeah.
what we have right now. Yeah.
Yeah, my only concern is for the deployment diagram to start first because that is what requires a little
Right.
more review than the essay. I mean, we'll not have a lot of changes to the essay.
Right.
So,
Are there any other diagrams that need to be done, or is it just essays left?
deployment is left, and then there's a security
There's a
plan,
security
which is,
plan,
I think,
which,
yeah.
Okay.
I think we can just handle that in the last sprint.
Yeah, so I'm not
I
sure
think
what a
if we
security
could
plan actually
grab-
entails. So
Can we
tell me, I'm sorry.
can we just grab like a template or an outline so that we can say this is what we will include, is this what he wants, basically? I mean,
I can do
Just-
that on the side. I can actually check
Yeah.
for a security template and then check with Dr. Vermilion to see whether it fits what
Okay.
he expects. And then if he's fine with that, then I guess next week we'll just go ahead and populate that and get on with it.
yeah, that works. Okay.
Thinking of a format, don't you guys think you can do that for the testing plan as well? Like if things are very uncertain, you can probably just download a template off the internet and like how it happens in real projects and just go to him with it.
I did that and I went with that to Dr. G only. That format was in a tabular, it was a tabular template with what are the test cases, which all testing is going to require, and how much effort is going to be, and who's going to perform it. But Dr. G was like, you have to really tell me which is a non-functional function, how you're going to do it. So I was thinking we'll come up, we will figure it out and we'll come up with a template. We'll just Google it out and we'll just merge everything and come up with a template which should meet the requirement of Dr. G. So maybe in a day or two we'll come up with that kind of because we're still kind of clueless what all has to be done, what all need not to be done. Because the template that I found was kind of a generic and they were all were on the similar level. Like test cases, what all needs to be done.
I think what we should do is come to a consensus by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Have a strong grasp on what we have to do by tomorrow evening, and going forward, like from day after, we just have to go about actually starting with the document and not be in this state of two minds on anything.
Why
Let's
don't
make
y'all
sure we
just
do our-
go ahead and try and do like the first one, like you do one user story and bring it to him done, as just one user story. Like, you don't even have to use a template. Just do what you think he's looking for, and then he can tell you exactly what is wrong and needs to be changed.
Yeah, that sounds good. We can probably do that.
It'd probably be less time than searching the internet for a good template.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah. Cool. So we good? I think
Yes.
we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have everyone's engaged in one user story or the other, so I think we should be good. I'll populate the Scrum board and probably drop you guys a mail. Cool. Anything
Sounds
else?
good.
Anything else?
Sounds good.
So how much are the sprint?
We have about 5.
5.
Yeah, 25. Pooja?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
What's the points for the deployment diagram?
I've given it an 8.
Okay.
Or should I go with a 5 because we're just looking at coming up with some sort of a diagram? I think I'll still give it an 8. Given the
I think 8 is
complexity.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right.
Cool. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, people. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.